Okay, everybody. Hi. Happy Tuesday, the 21st of January, 2020. This is nutty. I'm loving that we are meeting and regularly on Tuesday nights. And as always, we know that your time is so precious. So Erin and I have, Erin's done a really great job, and we're working even tomorrow on planning out our calls and really we have some really great people lined up for our calls. We really know that your time is valuable, and both of us, one of our goals as leaders is to really make this call valuable and worth your time, and at the same time, be really mindful of your time and not drone on and on about stuff. So we'll keep these to the point, and I'm just trying to get you some really good information, but we're super excited to be here tonight. And also super excited about our retreat coming up on Thursday through Sunday. For those of you that are listening to the recording and are not able to come, first and foremost, it's important that you know we will miss you. Our team is always better when we're all together. Those of us who are gonna go, we're gonna have an amazing time, but if you can't go, we will miss you, and know that you are such an important part of our team. Number two, we have some of the sessions we are going to be recording and using over the next couple weeks for our calls, so that you will have a chance to listen to them as well and get all that information. We have a really great agenda. Amethyst, Erin, and I planned out the agenda, and we feel really excited about it. And you're going to be hearing from a number of different people, not just us. We will be having a call with Melanie. I will do my very best to record that as well. So know that, and we'll get you guys that can't get there as much information as possible. So yes, I think that is one of the things I'm going to check. I think Melanie's going live on Friday at 10. She's going to confirm that, but it's 10. The earliest it would be at 9. So if you can get there as close to 9 as possible, but I think she's going live at 10, okay, with our group. So just FYI for those of you who are coming. And we're going to try, somebody else is going to try to do it live in our team page as well. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. But tonight we wanted to just kind of talk about nutrition and hear from you all, those that are on the call. And if you have questions, I know some of you, not really anybody posted below, but if you're listening to this recording later because you were gone all day or at work or whatever, please still message us your questions and we will try to answer them. One of the things that Beachbody has really grown in, when I started, it was all fitness, knowing that we needed that nutrition is important, but we didn't really have a lot to offer people. We know, research has shown, studies have shown that nutrition is imperative to getting results. We just cannot have one without the other. And so often we focus on the fitness part of it, and we just kind of do what we have to do to get by with the nutrition. And we wanted to kind of come alongside you and talk about simple things that you can do to help your clients when they're stuck. Simple things that you can ask them about. Sometimes I think we don't even know what to ask our clients about in terms of nutrition. Maybe we know how to talk about UPF or 2B mindset. Maybe we don't. And so we want to answer some of those questions tonight and over the next week, whatever. But it's really important that as coaches, we do research into our nutrition programs and how there are so many different ways that we can help people by simply asking them questions or giving them some nutritional tips. We all know we have an amazing so many amazing resources on this team. One of them, as you all know, Tracy is an RD, and I've been doing a number of groups with her for a while now, and it's incredible the little things that I've picked up, especially for women as we get older. Nutrition plays such a huge role in our success, and like I said, there's little things that we can tell our clients, okay, if you're feeling overwhelmed about the nutrition program that you choose, I want you to focus on water for a week. And there's simple things that we can do that really make a difference for our clients if we feel confident talking about them. So tonight, we wanted to first start off with, do you guys have any questions? And then we can kind of go into some things, both Tracy and I, some things that we share with our clients that have made a huge difference. Y'all, I have some clients, a number of clients actually between 45 and 60, who have been stuck at plateaus for years. And by changing just their nutrition, not even adding in fitness, they have been able to break through plateaus, and they are losing weight for the first time in years, even while going through menopause, and they are so excited. And so I know Tracy has had that, and so we wanted to just share some things that have worked for us, but also, even more importantly, hear any questions that you might have and get us rolling that way. So do you guys have any questions, specific questions or general questions about nutrition that you struggle with your clients, or that keeps coming up in your groups that you would like to ask?
I don't really have any questions, but I do have one comment that I like in our group that Julie and Kelly and Beth Ann do. They give us these meal plans in the files section. They're fabulous. There are all these really, it's like a weekly, is it a weekly thing? Yeah. And not only is the food good, but it fills you up. I don't know where you're getting them, but I just wanted to throw that out there that if you're not using that in your other challenge groups, they're really helpful, I think. And they've got a grocery list on them, and they're great. So.
And are they associated with UPF or 2B, you guys, or just stuff that you've put together?
They're both. They're actually from the Mompreneur content, and it's broken down into both. It's much more UPF driven, but it does talk about 2B mindset in each of them as well.
Okay. And so do you have clients that are doing both that are following those?
We don't really have, in our challenge group, we don't really focus on a specific nutrition plan yet.
Okay.
It's been more like just basic nutritional information, healthier options, healthier ideas, how to cut calories here and there, add more veggies, the water first, veggies most, dinner done, all those concepts, nothing specific.
Okay. And do you do your clients pretty much feel like is there anything that keeps coming up in your groups that your clients struggle with that's been helpful? Or it's just that they want meal plans and that's worked for you guys?
Well, we just started introducing the meal plans because we were pretty just Shakeology driven, and any fitness you were doing, that was sort of our focus and performance line. And now we're starting to integrate a little bit more of the nutrition components into it. So I think as we continue to run this challenge group, we'll continue to add more content, nutrition driven, based on whatever the needs are, especially because the majority of the people in our group right now are ready for that next step. And so I think that the group is going to continue to evolve. I mean, Kelly, jump in whenever you want, but I that's sort of how I foresee it. Kelly and Beth Ann are very much UPF. I am very much 2B, so it's perfect. We can speak to both programs.
That's awesome. Okay, Tracy, as an RD, is there some certain things that you would recommend? Doesn't matter if you're UPF, doesn't matter if you're 2B, but as we coach people on getting healthy, that are some main points that all of us need to know about nutrition that would be really helpful to share with our clients?
Well, I think it's important not to overwhelm them. So it's just hard to know what they want to know. So it would be great now that you have introduced the meal plans. And obviously you've got some feedback already from Angela. She says they're great. That could be something that you can kind of query your groups to see like how many people have tried some of the recipes, or, like Angela, do you follow all of them, or have you just sampled some of the recipes?
Just sampled some. Yeah.
And, and some things will sound great to others and not to somebody else. So whether it's in a meal plan or it's just, here's 3 dinner ideas or here's 3 lunch ideas. I mean, it's just more options for them, and so it might be cool at the end of each week just to kind of poll your group to say, how many of you tried like 1 to 3 recipes of the 9 that you gave or whatever. And so that could stimulate conversation, because sometimes it's hard to know what they want because they're quiet, right? Or they'll say thanks, but they won't say anything else. And I'm finding that a lot of times people suffer in silence. And you don't know that they're struggling until you realize, oh, they've been kind of quiet, or I haven't seen them much. And then you reach out, individually, and maybe they didn't feel comfortable. Every group has their little personality, so it's hard to know. But I'm finding that we have to ask direct questions in order to get some answers, and then to be able to go, oh, well, I didn't know you were struggling with that. I've got a lot of ideas up my sleeve, so let's roll up our sleeves, So, I mean, it's hard to just say what to tell your clients, because it's just so broad. You can go down what we call cheese tunnels all the time, and it's not even appropriate. Like, they really didn't want to know about that. Okay, well, I just spent 15 minutes talking about it. So, I mean, it could be just polling your group and saying, what's interesting, or I don't know. Sometimes it's just still too open-ended and nobody responds. So
one of the things that I would recommend, and if you aren't already doing this with your new clients, how many of you are doing like you do a welcome call, or like you do a call with them to go over their goals and their why and stuff like that? Do you guys do that with your clients? Yeah. Okay. So, and Erin and I are going to kind of share with you guys, and there's an onboarding process for coaches, but there's also kind of an onboarding process for clients. And there's so many different things that you could do, but one of the things that I have found that have kept my clients loyal and I get the most positive feedback in is that I send my clients goals in YDoc, a Google document that I've made, and they fill that out before the group starts. And then we kind of go over that. And one of the things I'm adding to it is a little bit more specific questions, to Tracy's point, about where do you struggle with nutrition? What triggers you to eat? Do you feel like you're an emotional eater? Just having a little section about nutrition. And what happens if you have a plan and you fall off? Because so often our clients, well, at least my clients, they get discouraged, of course, when they fall off the wagon, right? And one of the things that I think no matter what you're doing, whether it's PF or 2B, one of the most important things that we need to communicate with our clients is that obviously we're all a work in progress. Nutrition is one of the things where old habits die hard, right? I mean, they really do. Old habits have dictated us. And when things get emotional or life gets stressful or we're super busy, we tend to fall back on old habits. Old habits then make us feel like we're a failure, and then we kind of just, go crazy. How come that? Does it relate with anybody? And so one of the things that I think is really important is for us to ask our clients questions and finding out from them what they struggle with. And so for my clients, one of the things that keeps coming up is, I feel like I eat well, but I don't lose weight. So what's that about? And that's where, again, whether you have 2B or UPF, I think it's really important. One of the things that I've been doing is, before people, like, let's say people purchase now and my next group starts in February, right? One of the things I will do is have my clients watch the videos for 2B, but more importantly than that, I will just say to them, here are some simple things that you can do, because it's so important that people have success right away. And typically, people don't have success with nutrition right away. It's really hard, right? I can attest to that. Like, I can be all in, and then I might, go south depending on what's happening in my schedule. So it's important that we set people up for success. And so I ask people during the weeks, or maybe it's 5 days, or maybe it's 3 days before the group starts from when they purchase the challenge pack, I ask them to just keep track of their water every day. And I explain to them, water is one of the most important things you can do for weight loss and detoxing your body. And it's simple. Just pay attention to your water. And it's interesting that even people who said, oh, I don't have a problem with water, once they started keeping track of their water each day, they're like, oh, I thought I was drinking a lot more water. And it's just a little simple thing. So one tip that I would bring no matter what program you do, your goal when you first meet with clients and first start working with clients is to, one, help them have success, encourage them, but also show them that you know what you're talking about so they can relax and have confidence in you. And one of the most simple ways to do that is to really encourage people about water. And again, most of the world knows you're supposed to drink half your body weight in water. Not everybody, but most people hear about the importance of water, but it doesn't really register. And so that is a really simple thing you can ask your clients to do. Number two, I would ask her, even if you PF, you don't have to necessarily track everything that you eat every single day, right? Or do you? I don't, Kelly, do you UPF?
They track containers.
They
Yeah,
track
I check my containers in the app.
Okay, so even before your clients start tracking containers, and even before my clients start tracking in their tracker, one of the things I have my clients do is to say, as I say to them, we're gonna pay attention to our water. I want you to, keep track of how much water you're drinking. And I also just want you to keep track of what food you're eating. Like, what foods are you eating? What foods did you love this weekend? And I'll say, for example, if I'm talking to somebody, whatever, I just go, last weekend I had chips and salsa and I loved that. So I would just write down chips and salsa, or I'd keep track of it on my phone. And the point is to see what you're eating. I want to help you get results, and it's going to be more helpful for me the more information I have. Because as soon as you start tracking people's habits when they're not forced to, or it's not part of the program, you have a better understanding of how people are and what they are eating and what their tendencies are, what their habits are. And it's been a powerful thing for me to do before my clients even start my group. And I would really encourage you to do that. Again, that is not necessarily to be related. It's anything related. Our job is to help our clients with a fitness and nutrition program. Or if you're not focusing on a nutrition program, but even in a group that's just fitness, is to help our clients get the best results. And we can only speak to things that we know what our clients are struggling with, and we can better understand them and meet them where they're at once we know what kind of their habits are. And sometimes our clients don't even know what their habits are until we are able to take a look at this. Like, I was talking to a girl last night, and I asked her, just keep track of things for a few days and then send me a picture on her phone. She didn't have to write it down. She just had to put it in her phone. And we went through what she was eating, and she was like, I didn't know that was not, she just was like so surprised at what we discovered. And she discovered a lot as we were talking through it. And it was a really powerful part of our first phone call. And that's part of what I want to encourage you guys to do, to add into your new routine when you have new clients, because those are two simple things that are really profound, that can make a huge impact on people's nutrition and their results, and their trust in you as they start this new group. So that's just one of the major tips that I wanted to have to offer you, but also, oh, no, we don't want to. Okay. Anything, Tracy, go ahead.
Something that I helped a client with recently is using their Shakeology a little bit more strategically. So this kind of triggers me to add something to my goals sheet for someone and asking more questions, that Google Doc that you mentioned, about, do you have a sweet tooth, or are your cravings really more for salty, crunchy, or whatever? And that could be a great way for kind of helping them not only get their Shakeology in each day, but using it strategically. And it's also cold season, right? Or you might be getting people complaining about the coldness. You guys have a fit group, right? So it doesn't matter how cold it is outside after you do your workout, you're probably hot, so that could be a good way to still have your blended cold shake. But coming out of the holidays and having a few more sweets than I was used to before, I'm finding that I'm having my Shakeology more in the evening than I am in the morning, because it's feels like dessert, right? So
I
you know,
love that tip.
I find that I'm helping people be a little bit more strategic on how to use it. Or mix it in with yogurt, or mix it in with oatmeal, or something, different options if you're kind of like just dealing with objections, right? With different things. So that's also, I guess, the more questions that we ask, the inquiry, then it also makes it feel like A, you care, and B, you're really trying to serve them and their needs. That stimulates me to want to ask more questions in my little questionnaire. And I hadn't been doing a follow-up phone call before. I mean, I was really always trying to do that in groups, but people don't always like to share everything in groups. So if you can just take the time to have like a 15-minute call with them and go, okay, so what are you doing so far? Like, we thought they were going to be done with all of the videos. Oh, but really you've only gotten to this part of the video. Okay, well, socializing, if you spend 10 minutes on just watching those last 6 videos, they're going to help you tremendously, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's really just kind of trying to figure out where they're at, and a 10-minute conversation with them can really kind of put them over to better serve them a little bit.
I was just going to share too that I've been having a lot of conversations lately about what's healthy food and healthy for weight loss. Mm-hmm. That's a big one that comes up a lot too, is there's a lot of healthy food, but if they're really calorie dense and high fat, example, nuts, for example,
mm-hmm.
If you're trying to drop weight and you're eating a bunch of nuts, it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
So we talk a lot about that. That's been coming up in conversation a lot lately as people are trying to rein in their nutrition after the holidays, and
awesome.
They're kind of on that bandwagon. So that's been conversations I've been having.
Awesome. And what's really great about nuts is that, at least for 2B, they're counted as an accessory, as Julie of course knows. So the way that you can kind of do that, and you may have said this exact suggestion, Julie, is I had some people that were using it as their snack. So instead of having veggies first and protein and FFC, they were having accessory. Like, their whole snack was just accessories. And I'm like, okay, so do you see how that's not going to serve you? I go, but what if you chopped up those almonds and put it in a yogurt? So then you got the protein and you can still have the accessory, chop it up. And so you're using a smaller amount. And so you can kind of imagine if an accessory is a smaller portion than what everything else is, so for UPF, you guys totally get the portion control thing, right? Here we're trying to do it percentages wise with 2B Mindset, and just, as an accessory, like, you think of like a piece of parsley on a plate, right? That's accessorizing. That's just garnish. So think of like accessories as almost like garnish. And so maybe you're not eating a handful of almonds, but you're definitely getting the same crunch and satisfaction, and also the good fats and all that sort of stuff, if you added in a smaller amount with other foods to help balance everything out and sustain you longer. So that's what I really like about finding out what they're doing, and then not take it away, just have them use it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I like that. So Julie, when you have clients who are talking about that, let's say they've been not addicted, but they've been taught, for example, nuts are a really great snack, which there's some really great health things for it as opposed to grabbing something else. What might you tell them how might you guys substitute that or change that or adjust it?
So I always try and not take anything away, kind of like what Tracy was saying, and just sort of shift things. So I have a lot of people, including myself included, who love peanut butter and nut butters. Yeah. So some of the things I've done with that is just making sure I use a small amount. The other thing I've done is looked into like the PB2, the powdered peanut butter and nut butters, just to kind of do it that way. And it depends on what it is. Like, you know, everybody kind of has their thing. And like Tracy was saying, are you a salty person? Are you a sweet person? And then kind of go from there. You know, you can salty instead of like chips, you could go with, say you want chips and salsa. Well, try, you know, cucumbers and salsa, or carrots and salsa. But I also say, you know, you guys, I'm not trying to make it taste like chips and salsa. It's just substituting. You want the crunchy, salty, yummy, whatever, or guacamole, for example, you know, things like that. So I just try and substitute in more vegetables where you can, you know, trying to plan meals around vegetables as opposed to like a protein, which I think a lot of us, I know I used to do that a lot. It was like, well, what are you having for dinner? Well, we're going to have chicken, something, you know, and now it's more like, well, we're going to have some spaghetti squash with probably some marinara or something like that, as opposed to like, you know, meat sauce. So just sort of shifting thoughts and the way they look at food.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I think that people don't even know how to do that until they've experienced this and we're teaching them. And that's what's so fun.
Yeah, and I think that's what Tracy was saying. People suffer in silence. And if we just knew what was going on, we're like, oh, been there, done that. I can help you with this. This I've got. And I think that that's really where the meal plans come in and help because, for example, Angela, I'm going to share your story. She made one of the meal plans. It was the Philly cheesesteak, right? And she loved it, and her husband loved it, and it was so she shared that in the group, and so everybody was like totally into it then. And you know, there's a lot more vegetables in that, and it's just you still get the delicious. We could still need to eat delicious food. That's my whole thing. Like, I don't want you suffering. I don't want you to eat something you don't like. If you don't like it, let's find something you do like, because food is fun too, you know, and food is social, and food is so much a part of our culture that with little tweaks, it makes it, you're still part of it all and you're not missing anything. And for me, over the last year, I've really seen it sort of ripple out across my extended family, my parents, my siblings, my cousins, because, you know, we do lots of meals together. And so everybody's bringing like a veggie dish instead of like cheese and crackers, or, you know, it's just an interesting thing to kind of watch as you incorporate these little tweaks. Everybody else gets in, and nobody's feeling deprived, and everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to try that. That looks so good. You know, not like, oh, that looks like another salad. You know, it's just a mindset shift.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys able to share that like in a file in our team page, like your recipes or meal plans? Is that possible?
Yeah, they're like PDFs. Can I share that in the?
Yeah, you just go into the team page and upload it to a file.
Okay. I'll try and see if I can figure it out. I struggle with technology. I'll do the best.
We'll figure it out this weekend.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. We can work on it this weekend. Yeah. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So you guys, our time is just about up, which is crazy, but we want to be respectful of time and all at the point.
How about a picture? Oh yeah. Want a picture quick?
Another one?
Did you already take one?
Yeah, but nobody was smiling, but I was afraid it would hang up. And so we know the importance of nutrition, and in our team, if we need help with talking about nutrition, post on our team page. Let's encourage each other. Let's share different things that have worked with clients. And if we don't know where to go to look for more information, check the back office, ask, Google,